r/ask Reddit. Students of Reddit, what was your school's big scandal? We had a senior, male student in my high school who knocked up a freshman and the Spanish teacher within like a week of each other. Dios mío. You mean, Dios mío. I've posted it before but having a hard time finding it. Anyways, an English teacher slapped a kid in class and retired that week. The dream of plenty a teacher. On my last day before retirement, I wanted to slap the principal and go outside at dismissal and yell at all the driving parents who were disregarding law and common sense, nearly running over children daily. It was in 2007, but my high school had a string of bomb threats. There was a bathroom where no cameras could see who went in or out, and someone wrote in Sharpie across one of the stall doors, "There's a bomb in the school with that day's date." The school was evacuated, and we all went home. For the next few months, there was a bomb threat seemingly every Friday. We'd be in the middle of the first or second period, then we'd all go home. After we missed enough days, we all had to come in on several Saturdays, and the bomb threats stopped. We also had a bunch of bomb threats around the same time, but they caught the guy doing it. I guess he had a couple of tests he didn't want to do, so he used the bomb threats to force an evacuation to get extra time. The school held a special assembly just for the sole purpose of making him apologize in front of the whole school. He cried the entire time. When I was in high school, someone left a spoiled milk jug in the hallway, and since it was bloated or something, they treated it as a bomb threat and evacuated the building for the rest of the day. It was forever known as the milk jug bomb incident. The biology teacher was having an affair with the principal. It's downright wholesome to see age-appropriate sex scandals in schools. Yeah, my principal was having sex with every teacher. I was homeschooled, though. They had us in the first half. The summer after I graduated, the principal was caught propositioning underage teenage male prostitutes. My sophomore year of high school, the gym teacher's brother gets hired as the computer teacher. Nice guy, was personable. Not as much as his brother, but still. 2/3 through the year he just vanishes and most of the teachers don't want to talk about it. Eventually it gets out that when he was in college, the computer teacher got into a barroom brawl. During the brawl he took a pool ball, put it inside of a sock, swung it and smashed a guy in the head with it. The guy who get hit had permanent brain damage. The school found out midway through the year and that is why they let him go. Can you imagine the thought process it would take to conclude that your best course of action in a bar brawl was to take off a shoe, take off a sock, stuff a pool ball into it, and then hit someone? Whoa. I'm not going to defend him for giving a guy brain damage, but when you look at it for what it was, it did seem to work rather well. Like, a guy could do worse for an improvised weapon. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's terrible that the guy got brain damage. Very sad. But of all the choices this guy could have made, a stool, pool stick, maybe some cutlery, and his go-to is to MacGyver some medieval weaponry. You have to be impressed with that. On some level, you have to respect the creativity this man is capable of. There was a male head of year who was gay and had sexual relations with a guy who was a minor without knowing he was a minor. He left the school but I believe did not face any legal repercussions because it was clear that he had been deceived into thinking the individual was an adult could legally give consent. Happened to a friend of mine. Met at a party. He was 18, she claimed to be 17. They hooked up. A month later she thinks she's pregnant and her parents end up getting the story out of her. Turns out she was 14. Yep, she ended up not being pregnant. Thank God. But her parents filed charges against him. He was never convicted. BC there were enough witnesses that could back him up from the party, and I even think she eventually caved and went on record stating she had lied about her age. I had to give a statement. It all worked out in the end, but it was a scary few months there. Turns out my geography teacher was a pedophile with several thousand accounts of child pornography on their computer. How did they find him out? Our class had been told he was ill and we were quite sympathetic until half a year later when it was in the local news. The school tried to hide it but failed. Was during my sophomore year. A male super senior was having sex with a female freshman in the women's restroom. The hell is a super senior? Someone who has to repeat senior year, usually over 18. Someone burned down one of our buildings. Oh, I forgot all about the student crime. In middle school, a kid broke in one night to the building with the library. He piled up a bunch of books and set them on fire. Plus he stole some stuff. One of the things he stole was a t-shirt from a fundraiser display. He got busted because he wore the shirt, a shirt no one else would have. Not my school, but the small town high school where my kids now attend. Married female office admin sexes up a female student. Goes to jail for a few years. 10 years later, husbands of both women find out they have secret cell phones and have been carrying on a relationship off and on since the older one got out of prison. A string of deaths 3 years in a row was finally broken when some guy jumped out a 2-story building but lived. Every year in my school one student would die. Freshman year, we had a guy commit suicide because of bullying. Sophomore year, a girl gets hit by a car. And junior year, a guy gets a heart attack at 17. Senior year was the only year I heard of with no deaths. My engineering college had a suicide problem of sorts. One of the ways they dealt with this was requiring all freshmen to take Physical Activity 101 out of 102 inches, which is like gym class except the coach doesn't actually care what you do as long as it's not studying. Basically, force these damn nerds to walk around for a bit and speak to another human twice a week. A 16-year-old sending nudes to a 12-year-old in a Baptist school. Did he get in trouble? Yes, he was kicked out and used as an example of what not to do. A girl got pregnant and told everyone the father was our English teacher. Turns out, now, no one even knows who the father is, her included. Was she just ducking all of the boys in the school? That's the craziest part. There was ducking all the men in her village and the villages around. Couple things happened at my school. One of the PE teachers basically sexually assaulted a lot of girls while teaching gymnastics. We also had like 10 people from the same grade picked up by police because they were selling drugs in school, and I mean like a lot of drugs. All the drugs? Definitely more than 6. Teacher sucked a kid's dong during my senior year. He showed a few people the video. Then he proceeded to move to California. She still works there to this day. Empty balls make safe halls. This got more attention than I thought, so I have to credit Andrew Schultz for the joke. We currently have a lawsuit against our district. The nurses are claiming harassment against an intermediate principal, and the district refused to step in. Apparently the nurses caught him having an affair and told his wife. He pinned one against a wall and demanded to see her phone. In middle school, the athletics director was caught putting cameras in the girls' locker room. Our female PE teacher in 6th grade was caught touching the girls. Then, a male high school PE teacher and wrestling coach got busted for porn and touching kids, and set himself on fire in his home. I was in the showers are no longer mandatory, and please wear swim trunks in the pool generation. Even as a kid I could tell something was wrong with both of them. And now looking back, I wonder how many social cues I missed. Like if I was an unaware daydreaming kid and still felt weirded out, what would have registered as an adult? Or one of the kids' parents? Even hearing stories about the female PE teacher always had me thinking other adults don't do these things, why does she? Nobody who would ever harm a kid would walk into a private room full of naked kids, right? Jesus duck. And not just that. 2 scout leaders, 2 priests, 2 doctors and a cop, and however many clergy the church was covering up for. And for such a small town, all of us were so close together and everyone around us were ducking monsters. I'm pretty sure my high school English teacher had serious relationships with at least 5 girls from junior to senior year, and that's just who I knew. I can't imagine however many others I never heard about, like locked door lunches type deal. My history teacher blackmailed the girls who weren't doing so good on his class. He exchanged good grades for nudes. Had a few. High school math teacher got a DUI on a tractor and was fired. PE and CS teacher had an affair while both were married to other people. They eventually both divorced and ended up marrying each other. Accounting teacher married a student about a week after she graduated. Rumor was that they were already sleeping together when she was 16 and she was pregnant before graduation as well by the teacher. A couple bomb threats. Teacher sent nudes to a kid because the kid pretended to be a different person on a dating website. Teacher left. Kid was expelled. When I was in primary school, 9 years old, A kid from first grade caught my teacher and the principal doing it in his office. Mrs. Krabappel and Principal Skinner were in the closet making babies, and I saw one of the babies, and then the baby looked at me. Cheem student in our engineering school was making high quality meth to pay for his schooling. Got caught his senior year right before graduation. You know he couldn't have done it himself. I feel like your science teacher, Mr. White, may have helped him. There was a white kid who had a black baby mannequin to take care of for a week for some project to see if he would be a responsible parent. He hung the baby on a tree outside of the school, expelled and made news on the local paper. Beside that, not much. Some students put pins into the sewing teacher's coffee. Luckily the teacher was okay, but it definitely could have been worse. So on the day ahead of a huge event that was going to happen in the auditorium of our school, someone pissed on the audio equipment in the auditorium of our school and it ended up not working anymore. The principal announced that anyone who was a witness and who could tell them who the culprit is would receive 500 euros from the school. Turns out it was someone from our neighboring class, and probably 8-10 guys from that class went into the principal's office to rat him out and receive the money. Just that the majority of them who went there were just claiming to have witnessed it to receive money as well. The guy got expelled from school and had to pay for new audio equipment, which was probably at least around 3,000-4,000 euros. Though I DK whether everyone who ratted him out ended up receiving the 500 euro or not. I'm out of school now, but in high school it was discovered that a student had attempted to print the statistics exam to study before the test. This was found out in the morning when the teachers went into the math office, put more paper in the printer, and out came the exam that the stats teacher did not print. Now, cheating at my high school was punishable by expulsion, so the teachers all flipped out. This was fall exam, so we had a whole year of school assemblies where we all got talked to. I was a sophomore at the time and only seniors took stats, but they were basically trying to get anyone who knew something to talk. No one ever said a word. No one guy got in trouble. Nothing. We even talked about it after the seniors graduated and no one knew anything. So either someone is amazing at keeping secrets or the stats teacher printed it by accident and didn't realize and found in the morning because the printer ran out of paper. On the lighter side, the vice principal wrecked his car one night coming back from a school football game. Somehow he had managed to hit a dead cow on the side of the road. For the rest of the year he got subjected to random moves when he walked down the halls. A kid was trying to get initiated into the Bloods. Part of this is committing a serious act of violence, so he brought a Glock to school and tried to kill the school resource officer. Principal tackled him the second he saw him pull out the pistol. Everybody hated the principal until that day. We were on CNN that night. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.